we thought that he'd be a really great speaker today. He works with clients of brands like Ferrari and Bentley. It means that he understands far more than just sales. It means that he understands people, status, negotiations, trust, human behavior at a very high level. These clients include entrepreneurs, executives, investors, athletes, high net worth individuals who expect excellence, discretion, and premium services in every interaction that he has. Chris has spent years navigating those conversations, building relationships in environments where perception, psychology, and influence really matter. Tonight, he'll be sharing his insights around sales, negotiations, leadership, and psychology behind high performers and affluent clients. So, welcome, Chris.
Thank you, gentlemen. Pleasure. I can honestly say, man, sitting in a group of you young men and ladies, that it all starts with you just being self-motivated. That's the biggest part of this whole game. I can teach you how to play the game, I can teach you the psychology to it, but I can't motivate you. If you are not motivated, you will fail, I promise you. And it's not something that's gonna be, from lack of effort, because it will absolutely be from lack of effort. The people in the room that are talking to you, they're just like you. They just want to be treated just like you. So if you come across an athlete, don't have the star banner on your face. That is where you make your mistake, because they're not looking for the star status. They're looking to be treated like normal people. When you do that, friendships will naturally develop, because they got plenty of people who are trying to handle them. That's a daily given. They want the genuine part of it. I was talking to a client the other day. He's currently an assistant coach for the Washington Wizards. 7'2", he's got his rings. He could care less. He'd rather go out and ride a BMX or a dirt bike. He is literally that guy. And at 7'2", trying to do tricks on a BMX, I didn't believe it till I saw it for the first time. So never judge a book by its cover. So with that being said, please open up the floor, man. I'm glad to answer any question, and trust me, gentlemen and ladies, there is not a question that you can't ask.
Yeah.
That's where you make your mistakes.
We have some selected questions that we have here, and then we'll open it up to the floor as well too. I know a lot of us go through negotiations in our everyday life, just talking with clients, talking with potential business partners. What are some subtle ways that people give away their negotiating position without realizing it? How do you know what they're feeling, or what the climate is when you're going into negotiation as well with a high net worth client?
Are we referring to just like their business intact, or in the card negotiation in itself? Because that's kind of a loaded question. Mm-hmm. And I say it that way because if it's for him, it's a different conversation. But you have a lot of women that are coming into this world with the same mindset of just beating you on the track, and they love doing it. And it's probably one of the coolest things I see, especially it's an unsuspecting, like the young lady that just walked out, very petite. You wouldn't, for most of the men in this room, feel threatened, correct? You would look at it as, I can bring you to a group of women right now. There are 11 women in Charlotte that are billionaires, not millionaires, and they all hang out together, and they all have their own set of cars, not their husband's cars, and they will absolutely crush every single person in this room on the track. I don't care if you've done it for many years. There's a 67-year-old lady right now. She walks with a little waddle. She will crush you. It's the coolest thing on the planet because she likes being unsuspecting. And a lot of your high wealth people, they dress completely down. They'll come to your dealership in a busted pickup. You got NFL guys that'll pull up in there with a hole in their t-shirt. Most people don't recognize them because they like to dress down. The point that I'm making is never judge what walks through the door as what you see come through the door. Pay attention, because a lot of it's just subtle stuff, or the shoes, or something simple. That's when you get into the psychology part of it. Like what I did with them. They didn't even realize it happened. I'm sitting a good 1.5 inches taller than them two. Even with them being taller than me, they're still shorter than me. It's just a minimum psychology thing of taking command of that room. And it's so subtle that they would never see it coming. It's really cool. It's really fun, because when I explained it to them and it hit them, they were like, ugh, okay. But it's just subtle. You got to play the game and be smart. And never think you're the smartest person in the room. Just play the game. The room will tell you how to play it.
Thank you. And you're dealing with a lot of people with a lot of status, power. Sometimes, they might have a lot of ego involved as well, too. What are your ways of navigating that ego, that status, that power, especially when they might be testing you?
Never take it personal. It is analytical, it's numbers. At the end of the day, it's about what they want to spend. That doesn't always correlate to the car they want either, because what you want to spend in your mind telling me, I'm only going to spend X, well, then you're not getting what you're looking at. You got to be willing to tell them no. And that, for you guys, is going to be a really hard thing, because the first time you tell a person no, they can do whatever they choose when they want to, you got to be willing to stand on it. I mean, that's extremely important, because if you don't and you let them do it, they'll blow through you and get bored. I got a guy right now, he averages 25 cars a year. The minimum he spends on a car is $250,000. Times 25, gentlemen, ladies. But if you don't slow him down and tell him no, he'll burn himself out. He's going through every level of exotic that you can get. He's at the point now where he has to order something that will intrigue him. Here's the catch-22. His attention span is that long. He will get bored, forget he ordered a car. You got to remind him, especially if it's a Ferrari, because it takes 30 months for them to come in. You have to keep that person intrigued for 30 months. That is not a simple task. So you have to stay in front of it. But you can play the game. You can always invite them to events. Send them little gifts here and there of the brand that they're getting into. It's the way that you incorporate it and bring them in and keep them intrigued. That's the easy part, because they're always looking for a gift. They're always looking for something to give back, because nobody wants to feel like they're only giving. If you're only giving, you're feeling like you're taking advantage of, and that relationship will die fast. So sometimes don't do the pictures. I've never taken a picture with an athlete. I've never taken a picture with these guys of high wealth. One of my clients is probably one of the most well-known people on the planet. I've never taken a picture with him. I've never asked him for an autograph. I've never done anything, but I mean, he'll give me basketball tickets. That guy.
Can you walk us through like your most difficult client? And I know we've all had really difficult clients, but I can only imagine like some of the people that might be walking through the door.
Funny you should ask that question. This happened last week. I had a gentleman call in on a McLaren GT, $148,000 car. Not something that's going to break the bank, but he turned into the absolute most vain pain you could come in contact with, because nothing moved fast enough. You'll never appease them all. That was the most difficult deal I've ever done. And at the end of the day, the deal didn't consummate, because the people that he wanted to do the PPI took 3 days to get back to me. That 3-day time span, he lost it, cursed out half the dealership, walked away, gave me a bad review, calmed down, and then corrected it. Still didn't get the car. I sold it to somebody else. And the greatest thing that is a salesman you'll ever come in contact with is that beauty of saying, you missed it. It's a little self-gratification. There's ways to get it back too, but you're not gonna appease them. If you're trying to manage them and handle them, you're gonna spend more time pulling your hair out than anything else. Let the situation play. There's no broad, this is how you script it. It doesn't work that way. It's an individual thing. And just build your rapport. And it's not about sell yourself, sell the dealership, sell the car. That works great in books. Reality, real life, talk to them as an individual. Find out what they're looking for. People will tell you how to sell them. It's just like with your business that you guys do daily. If you're investing or if you're trading or if you're doing something, they'll tell you how to do it. And you'll get the most reward out of it. I mean, the fun part is creating the relationship. There's gonna be a lot of work, because you're playing with 1%ers, 3%ers. 3% of people on the planet, they can buy when COVID was at its peak, and they'll buy a couple $100 million worth of cars. There's one particular guy here in Charlotte, he bought 7 Ferraris in one day. One day. 4 of them, he put PPF, tinted, wrapped them. They never left the dealership, and he traded them back in. That's the type of wealth that you guys are playing with. You just got to look at it as, I'm not trying to get it all, because the first day that you become greedy, I promise you, you will lose it all, because they're waiting for you to be greedy. You guys got to remember that in the back of your mind. Don't try to squeeze it. Just let it run. It's going to keep coming back to you. And the last time I checked, 4 or 5 deals is better than one big hit any day of the week.
What I know we were talking about, the story you mentioned earlier on you saying Porsche wrong or Porsche wrong and losing a deal. But other than mispronouncing a name, what are some behaviors that quietly destroy trust with high net worth clients? Like, what do you see maybe early sales?
The first time you lied to them.
Okay.
The first time you try to feed them some frivolous number on something that's a true spec about the car. The average person that comes into our world spends about 22 to 26 hours of research before they ever ask you their first question. They're not asking you because they have the question. They're asking you because they want to know that you know the exact answer. If you don't know, there's no shame in saying, I got to find out. It's better for you to say it that way. But if you lie, there ain't no second chance to start, save your face. It does not work. There is no rewind button. You get one shot at these people, and I mean one shot. And they will tell their friends, and your name will either be synonymous with a great thing or trash, and they will continue to trash you. So it will hurt you more to just not be honest and just say, I'm not sure. There's nothing wrong with saying I'm not sure. Nobody walks through life knowing all the answers. I promise you that. I've been doing this 15 years, and I still learn something every day. But I'm also willing to learn something every day. So that's the other part of that equation, is you guys can't close yourself off thinking you know it all. Be willing to accept some criticism, and actually, true wealthy people will happily tell you how to get it. They're happy to tell you. You just got to be willing to listen.
Can you share a moment where you maybe had to fall on your sword and maybe you got something wrong and you just had to rebuild that relationship with a client that you knew you had a good relationship with before, and it automatically, that trust broke, or deal broke down, or something happened where you had to revitalize the relationship?
2 years ago, one of my athletes was buying his wife a Bentley Continental GTC for Christmas. And I had to leave my house Christmas morning to deliver a present to his house Christmas morning. So my kids, my wife, are looking at me like, where are you going? I'm talking about like 7:30 in the morning. Get to his house, put a bow on it, and knock on the door. And Courtney comes out. She doesn't have a clue. She's got a brand new Bentley. Well, it wasn't the color that she wanted. That's the realest part of this conversation. It was not the color. She didn't even know she was getting a car. No clue. We hid this for 3.5 weeks. And because it wasn't the color that she wanted, she handed the keys back. Yeah, that's tough. A $370,000 car, and she said, wrong color. Thank you, but no thank you. That's some humble pie, ladies and gents. When you can turn your nose up at just about a $400,000 car, what life are you living? Like, any person, anywhere would have been happy to take it. And it was brand spanking. It had 21 miles when I delivered it. The 21 came from me driving from my house, from the dealership to their house, my house to their house. And it turned right around and came right back to us 2 days later. Then she ended up getting the same color. Then she got the colors that she wanted. But it took another day. So it took all the joy this man and I had planned. And when I tell you he planned, you guys have no clue. When you got an NBA guy that's on the road and he's trying to facilitate something, the crushing look in his face when she said the wrong color, I mean, I can't stress to you guys enough how you could just see it just fall.
Was this his wife or his girlfriend?
Wife.
Okay.
Wife.
If it was a girlfriend,
No girlfriends.
shame her, not the car.
No girlfriends. This is about he is, and I know a lot of athletes, he's the most loyal guy you'll come in contact with. And it's the same 7'2" dude that's practicing on BMXs. The same guy. Like, you would see him walk. I mean, here's the sad thing, man, and this is the most real part of this conversation. Where we are in life, a lot of people look at people and they don't really see what's in front of them. If you see a 6-foot-something guy or a 7-foot guy, you kind of got an idea, potentially, he could be an athlete. Most people won't approach him. Why? What is stopping you from just saying, hey? Because the hardest part that he could ever tell you was, I'm not interested. Well, that didn't hurt your feelings, did it? And if it did, you probably had some other things going through your mind at that time. It's just surreal how people are creatures of habit. And I'll say it in that perspective. You all do the same things repetitiously. And when you think about it later on, to how you brush your teeth, how you tie your shoes, how you get dressed in the morning, you do the same thing repetitiously. If you put your left shoe on first every day, you know the next morning you're putting that left shoe on. It's breaking that habit, though. You got to learn how to get, if you want to win and take control of the situation, you got to get them out of their comfort zone. And it's a lot easier than what you think. Just the subtle things, like the half-inch down. Half-inch doesn't seem like a lot. But when you're trying to posture, and they love to posture, you have an advantage. He's 7'2", I'm 5'9", but I'm still taller than you sitting in this chair. So it's just subtleties. It's a smooth way to just take control.
Can you describe maybe the client that is wealthy, millionaire, 100 millionaire,
Oh, yeah.
then billionaire, and like what you see in the differences in communication and how you're closing them?
So funny thing there, like, and you were saying before, you know, you're entrepreneurs, you're businessmen, you have a lot of people that have saved their entire lives to send you guys to college. So you slip up and you get a 4-year full ride. Now they got an equity stake that's just sitting over here. They will come get themselves a toy. I've seen it done more times than I can count. But because of how they come in, you know, they're not dressed in your Louis or your Gucci or your Prada. They're dressed in a nice little Walmart special. But you would look at that person thinking they can rub 2 pennies together when they can buy whatever they walked into. Never perceive something. The wealthiest, and I'll change that. The wealthiest person I've ever met at Foreign Cars Italia came in on a Saturday in a gold Ranger pickup with trash in the bed. A white t-shirt with a big hole right here. Some Betty Boop pajama pants that were red, black, and white with some slides through the toe that were completely run over. This man sat at our dealership for 45 minutes. Every Saturday we do courtesy car washes for our clientele. Nobody talked to him. I just happened to own the detail company at the time, and I walked past, asked if anybody had helped him. He was like, nah. He was eating a Danish. Came back probably 20 minutes later, and he asked to see a Ferrari. And my GM looked at me, Bob looked at me at the time, and he was like, just show him the car. Well, this gentleman left, came back in his Armani suit and his 2 rollbacks, and he bought 2 cars. And he bought them for me, and I wasn't even a salesman because of the simple fact I spoke to him. So again, they judged him because of how he looked, not because of what he had, because they didn't have a clue. This is a 13-year Pro Bowl select, free safety. I know athletes. I know guys like that. And, well, I take that back, not that guy, but the guy that I'm referring to with the Betty Boop pajama pants, his IT company, 50 million profit that calendar year. 50 million. And he just wanted 2 cars. But he sat there for over an hour and a half, and not one person spoke to him, not one salesman, because they judged him. I'm telling you, ladies and gents, don't judge. You will shoot yourself in the foot. And sometimes it's something you can overcome. 90% of the time it's not. Because they're looking at you like you look down on them. None of us in this room want to be looked down on. You want the same respect, so give it. Even though you don't think it's warranted, give it. It will come back. That's the best advice I can give you, sitting in a room of guys and young ladies. You guys are going to be good. And I've met a couple of you guys already. I know you away from here. You're going to be just fine. But you got to be a little humble, but you also have to have the courage to put your foot down. If you don't, they're going to walk through you. Can't catch them when they're running away. You won't.
Last question. I'm sure as you're going through your sales career, you've met some really interesting people. What's the best piece of life advice anyone's given you that's hit you hard?
Hit me hard in a positive or negative way?
Either one. You tell me.
The most positive thing I ever got from somebody, got a beach house for a week, never asked for it in Belize, and didn't take him up on it. Politely told him I can't, and he asked me why. It's a gift. Because at the end of the day, I'm a grown man. I'm not trying to walk on anybody else's feet. So I appreciate the offer, but if I want to get it, I'll get it. You just got to be willing to remember that, because not all gifts given out have no strings. There's a purpose to it. They're gauging you. They're seeing what you're going to take. And they're telling themselves what type of person you are just from how you react to what they're offering you. That's real.
Well, we're going to open it up to everyone in the audience as well. I think we have time maybe for like 2 or 3 questions.
Fire away. Please.
So, thank you for coming, Chris.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man.
I'm dressed like this. I came straight from work.
Dude, so did I.
Having to, I guess, re-engage and follow up with clients, because, I mean, we have probably like 150, 200 clients that we've worked, well, 300 now that we've worked with in the past, and I'm trying to figure out ways to either keep touch points with these clients, like send them gifts and stuff. What's the best way that you found?
What's your line of work?
Real estate media.
Okay.
I work with realtors.
Okay.
And builders.
So you're behind the scenes, you're doing it all. So the quickest way to stay in front of them is just remember a birthday. Write a personal note, not a type note.
Yes, sir.
It takes more time to take the personal aspect and write it out versus type it out. Doesn't seem like a big gesture, but how many times do you get mail where it's all typed out and you don't pay any attention, but that one letter that came in that had a handwriting on the cover, how fast did you tear it open? You always want to feel like you're unique in who you are. And you got to remember to treat, like, say for instance, your client loves dogs, loves kids, or plays something different. Well, it won't hurt you to invest 40, 50 bucks into just sending them something that they're into. Because when it comes back around to it and they need a rep, they're going to think about you first because you did it without asking for something. Not everything has to be something given to receive something, but just kind of stay in front of them. If you do that, they'll remember you faster than anything else.
Thank you, man.
I had a question. So you touched a lot on how relationships are important. Would love to hear if you have like any frameworks or anything like as you're meeting a person, especially if it's going to take, let's say, 30 months before they're going to get this vehicle. You still have to, keep that relationship.
You got to keep
alive.
them engaged.
Yeah. So do you have any kind of methods or any things that you do to kind of build that relationship over the time period?
So depending on the brand, because say it's an Aston Martin, like where I'm at, I'm Aston, Alfa, Bentley, Maserati, and Ferrari. But we have 17 franchises under 7 roofs. So I can choose, well, we have everything that you could possibly ask for. You'll get the people that want a specific car, and it's a numbered car. Well, that's kind of harder to play that game because, say Ferrari does a thing called critical scoring. Depending on what you bought pre-owned, puts you on a list to get a new car, and it falls either above or below someone. So they're the funny ones, I would say, and they're very cultural. And if you're in the car business, every manufacturer is trying to get to that cultural status. Porsche, and I will say the this time, is the closest thing to Ferrari as a culture, but nobody is Ferrari. They have the right, and I promise you, if you have a customer that walks into a Ferrari franchise and he starts giving a little bit of attitude, they will kindly ask him to leave. I don't care about his net worth. I don't care. He could buy the building, buy the lot. Ferrari doesn't care because there is someone waiting to take your place. And you got to kind of keep that in mind with what you do daily. Because if you don't be a man of your word, the integrity that you guys talked about earlier has more power than you guys really realize. If you're not a man of your word and you promise something, and it could be something simple, and you don't follow through, it could be a justified reason why you didn't. They won't ever hold you in that same regard again. So once it's broken, it's broken. So never overpromise. That's the best advice I can give you. If you don't think you can, but you really want to, then say, I'll do my best. But don't promise to do it. Because they hold that to heart. They hold it, I promise you, they hold it to heart. And again, you're playing with a group of people that can do what they want when they want. And last time I checked, birds of a feather flock together. So they will tell their friends, good, bad, or indifferent. You just have to set the scale as to how you want to be perceived. I never overpromise anything. You don't have to. The expectation is going to be there, so manage the expectation. But don't extend too far. It'll bite you.
Any other questions? You have time for one more.
Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
In your story, you mentioned about having a car detailing business,
Mhm.
and then the guy bought the cars from you. So, what was the moment that you realized that was your avenue that you needed to pursue?
Honestly, never thought about being a car salesman. I have never been fired from a job in my life. Car salesmen typically, if they don't produce in 90 days, that's it, you're out. Depending on what brand you're in, sometimes it's shorter than 90 days, it can be 60 days. So again, my GM pretty much put it to me this way. I sold my business, I had a guy come in multiple months in a row. I used to own Ideal Image Detailing. I had 7 dealerships, plus mobile, plus private, plus my celebs. I signed an NDA with all of them. If you sell the company, you still don't get the list of names that are on the list. That's what the guy initially, that's all he wanted. And I knew that's what he wanted. And I bet my attorney $50 going in the door. It was gonna be one of the first 3 questions I asked whenever we walked in the room. So we both put a smooth 50 on the table. First question. So that list, man, when am I going to get that list? And I didn't say a word. My attorney looked at me, he smiled, he just slid it over. He was like, what's that? I said, you did exactly what we expected. I didn't ask you to sell the company. You came to me to buy it. I'm cool with it. Now, at the end of the day, this is where I made my mistake, is I undervalued what I had built. Now, I say that in jest. I put 5 kids through college. They have 0 college debt. That was my gift to them. They could either take a check or I'll pay for school. They all took paying for school. None of them took the check. Why couldn't you take the check? I'd have been quite happy because when you spend it, it's over. I ain't got to worry about it. But none of them took it. Smart enough to know that I can get that back. It's not the initial gratification, because most of the people that you guys play with are about instant gratification. You got to slow them down, because instant gratification is a fast regret in the same conversation. So you just got to remember, you got to be mindful about that. And it'll save you headache down the road, because if you're trying to appease them all, you'll fail them all. I promise you. A pleasure. Please. Absolutely.
So a couple of things that you mentioned about making a deal at that level: integrity, consistency, humility, things that have nothing to do with finances. Someone that's going to check out a Ferrari is not talking budget, interest rate, what I can afford.
You'd be surprised.
And I'm sure, there's going to be some, but for most that go in there, the deal, when you come from a place where finances are a big thing, that's all you're thinking about: what can I afford,
Mhm.
right? But when you start getting into an arena with someone and you're negotiating a deal like that, I'm wondering what are some of the things you've seen that are the nuance, that this is what they're actually looking for. And I learned this a little bit in commercial real estate as far as negotiating deals for business or for making deals happen in commercial real estate. It's not even the price point, it's the tax benefit or the depreciation, all these other things. So I'm wondering, from your experience, I've only been doing this for about 5 years now.
Okay.
Your wisdom, what are some of the other nuance, not just Ferrari, but as an example, that you're seeing that people are looking for when they're making a deal at that level that has nothing to do with finance?
So it's a situational thing, whether they need it to be a monthly write-off, something their creative CPAs. Remember, everybody wants to play at the 6,000 pound or higher level. At 6,000 pounds, a car is a write-off. The law has changed over the last 5 years 4 different times. Whether it's an EV, whether it's a hybrid, whether it's just a gas guzzler. At 6,000 pounds, if you put just a plaque with your business name on it, it is mobile advertising. There are very slick ways to write off 4 or 5. One guy I know, 15 grand a month. He also bought a $740,000 Ferrari. So it's just it's a hard question to answer with just one straight line. But what I will say is, it depends on the situation. If a company, and a lot of them don't want to be the personal guarantor, so that's another hurdle you got to jump. If the company has its own credit and it can stand on its own, they don't have to have a personal guarantor. But 85% of the time, they're going to have to be. You'll get pushback on it, especially with APR and all this. Well, I'm getting 1.99. Great. Let me know your lender at your bank. I'll give them a call and we'll try to figure it out that way. But if they're smart and they're getting a Ferrari, Ferrari does not report to the credit bureaus. Doesn't affect your DTI at all. I'm just saying. I know a guy very recently, last calendar year, I sold him conservative 3.2 mil in cars. He gave one of his Ferrari back. Voluntary repossession. Blew my mind. Could have paid cash any day of the week. And when I asked him why, he was like, what does it matter? Doesn't report to the credit bureau. So they know the advantages and disadvantages. Same with your real estate. Not so much in your world, but like in my world, it depends on who their lender is. And then as far as the car itself or the deal itself, again, you have to be willing, you have to take control of them.
It's good. So Alchemy Co-working is my company.
Mhm.
The first deals that I was trying to get, it was just, what can I afford? I didn't have the credit, the capital, nothing to get into the door. And I was just looking at, the financial benefits. How can I make the model make sense on paper financially?
Right.
And what got my first, second, and third location done had nothing to do with the finances. It had to do with the first one wanting to tax benefits as far as his location, also very long-term investment.
Mhm.
This deal was an acquisition, had nothing to do with the bottom line. I got a reduced rate on the lease here. They just wanted consistency of the tenant they could count on
It's not.
So I think even your point is understanding like the nuance of Ferrari and understanding, hey, they can walk away from the deal. I can be okay with walking away from the deal and throw the deal away.
Yep.
So going with that mindset is very helpful.
Yeah, you just, again, never take it personal. And a lot of customers will try to make it a jousting match back and forth. They get off on the challenge. It's not the win they're looking for, it's the fact they like getting that rise out of you. And that's happened a lot.
It's a funny question. What separates a Ferrari person and a Lamborghini person?
You want comfort or you want to get beat up for an hour? Lamborghini is a hard ride. But in all essence, Volkswagen Group owns Lamborghini and Pagani and a lot of different brands. If you want a Huracan, I know some of you guys are all about the flash. They want to see it go. You tack a Huracan too many times on a hot day, it will catch on fire. It's not for me, it's just the way they're set up. Combustion tracks on those, they're high velocity. It's a high rev system that's gonna get to optimal performance as fast as possible, but constantly thumping on the throttle, forcing fuel through something that's already at the point of igniting, well, I'm sorry, it will ignite. Never seen a Ferrari do it. And I've played with, I've driven every Ferrari from a 348 TS to the 849 Testarossa, and that was recent. That's probably one of the sickest cars you guys are gonna see coming through, and it's an order car. They're starting to get delivered in the next 30 months. You'd be surprised. I thought it was initially not for me. Didn't like the look, didn't like the nose. There was a little small details that I didn't like about it. Then I sat in it and was driven in it by a Ferrari driver. Sir, I'm gonna tell you right now. I raced motorcycles for 25 years on the track. Played as hard as possible. I used to jump out of planes for a living when I was in the military. That dude made me tighten up quite a few times. And he was laughing while he was doing, like, we're drifting through a chicane and he's staring at me. He ain't even looking at the road. I was like, dude, what are you doing? Yo. He was like, man, I got this, man. It's cool. And he just pushed right on through. It's the comfort level, because he did exactly what I did to you guys, is he took me out of my comfort zone. And it was an intentional thing. It's subtle. He's on a track. He's doing what the car's supposed to do. He's showing me how to perform. But in the same token, he was bringing me down from this I got it mentality. And he got me. I'm not gonna lie, he got me a couple times. In a very short track, if you guys have been to Concord at 1010s, that's a very small oval. We hit 140 on that thing a couple times in that little track. We drifted through a chicane at 95 miles an hour, and I'm like he bunny hopped and just skipped half the track. I'm like, dude, I say, this on you, man. You got it. It's your world. I'm just playing along right now. I made an uh-oh handle, and that was me cracking the window and grabbing the side of the car. But that had to get me an uh-oh handle, because he was throwing me around in the car with the seatbelts on. That's crazy. But that's also a level that I am trying to get to. When you're so comfortable that a $800,000 car, you can throw it around like a Matchbox car, and you're quite cool with it, well, so your confidence level is different than everybody else's. And that's where you guys need to have the same thought process. The more comfortable you are, the more that you can get in front of the people that we all network with, because I promise you, my clients are your clients. Easily say that. If I was to sit in a room and write down everybody that I have, I'm pretty sure a lot of them would fall into a lot of y'all's pages. You just gotta be willing to just kind of step out of your comfort zone. That's the biggest part to this whole game that everybody needs to understand. It's not your comfort level you need to worry about. You're irrelevant. It's their comfort level, because they can do what they want. They just have to trust and believe that you're telling them the truth. It goes back to the first thing. Don't lie. The first lie will be the only lie you get to tell these people. And they do not forget. God bless you, they do not forget. It's like the day you go home and you tell your wife you're gonna do something, but you forget about it. How often will your girlfriend or wife get on you about getting that accomplished? Because you gave your word. Keep your word. Best advice.
We appreciate your time.
And listen, gentlemen, thank you, and ladies, thank you for having me. You know, I've done this for a little while, but in the same token, I'm still learning. As long as you're willing to still learn, you will win. The day that you tell yourself, I got it, there's gonna be some back steps for you. It's inevitable.
We appreciate your time, your knowledge, and
My pleasure.
so much.
Absolutely my pleasure, man. And like I say, I know some of you guys play golf, and ladies. I'm not saying y'all don't. Let's play. We'll have some fun. Yeah.
we'll have an upcoming golf tournament as well too.